Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. We're about to jump into some seriously cool hidden histories today.
Definitely cool, yeah.
We've been digging into a bunch of articles about archaeological discoveries, and let me tell you, these discoveries,
Oh, yeah.
they really flip the script on how we think about the past.
Totally. Like finding a missing puzzle piece, and suddenly the whole picture changes.
Exactly, and you know I'm all about those puzzles, so you ready to unlock some archaeological mysteries with me?
Always ready. Let's dive in.
All right, first up, ancient Egypt. But hold on, we're not hitting the pyramids just yet. We're going to talk about something that's like a magic key that unlocked a whole ancient language. Ever heard of the Rosetta Stone?
Of course. The Rosetta Stone, one of the most famous archaeological finds ever. It's a big stone slab with the same message, but in 3 different languages. Ancient Greek, Demotic script, which was like everyday writing in ancient Egypt, and then hieroglyphics.
Like a secret code book, right?
Yeah.
But for centuries, nobody could crack the code of hieroglyphics. Those intricate symbols were a total mystery. Then, in 1799, French soldiers in Egypt, bam, they stumble upon this incredible stone.
You can imagine their surprise, right? Like finding a treasure map. But this map didn't lead to gold or jewels, but to something way more valuable. Being able to understand the thoughts, beliefs, and stories of a whole civilization.
It's like being able to suddenly read a whole library that had been closed off for thousands of years. And speaking of ancient libraries, let's move on to another discovery that unearthed a treasure trove of texts. The Dead Sea Scrolls. Have you heard of those?
Now, this one is a story of pure luck and some curious shepherds.
Love those.
Back in 1947, near the Dead Sea, these young shepherds were searching for a lost goat in a cave. And what do they find? Clay jars packed with ancient scrolls.
Talk about finding a needle in a haystack. Or, I guess, scrolls in a cave. What were these scrolls all about anyway?
Well, the Dead Sea Scrolls have some of the oldest known copies of texts from the Hebrew Bible.
That's got to be a big deal, right?
Huge for scholars studying religious history. It's like finding the original manuscript of an important book. But get this, the scrolls also include other writings that didn't make it into the official Bible.
Whoa. Secret texts. What kind of secrets are we talking about?
These texts give a different perspective on biblical stories and events, offering a glimpse into the beliefs and practices of a particular group of Jewish people, the Essenes, who lived around the time of Jesus. It's a behind-the-scenes peek at a really pivotal period in history.
Wow, I bet that shook things up. It's just wild how these discoveries can make us question everything we thought we knew. Okay, you ready for our next adventure? Let's jump across the Atlantic Ocean to Newfoundland, Canada.
All right.
There's a discovery up there that literally rewrote history books.
Oh, yes. Talking Vikings, not just any Vikings, but Vikings who landed in North America way before Christopher Columbus. Definitely a discovery that made people rethink everything they thought they knew about early exploration.
Yeah, for centuries, everybody thought Columbus was the first European to step foot in the Americas back in 1492.
Right.
But then, in 1960, this Norwegian couple, being Stads, they were on a mission, like history detectives, to prove Vikings were here first.
And they were determined.
Super determined. And their detective work totally paid off. They uncovered the remains of a Viking settlement at Lanzo Meadows, dating back to, get this, around the year 1000 AD.
Wow.
500 years before Columbus.
Incredible.
It blows my mind to think about those Viking ships sailing across the Atlantic Ocean all that time ago. Makes Columbus's voyage seem like a piece of cake. But there's a question that has always bothered me. What happened to those Vikings? Why didn't they stay in North America?
It is a mystery. Archaeologists think they might have only stayed for a little while, but we still don't know for sure why they packed up and left. Maybe they had trouble with the environment or conflicts with the native people who were already living there. It's a puzzle with some missing pieces still.
A puzzle for future historians to figure out.
Wow.
Speaking of puzzles, let's head back to Egypt. We're finally tackling those iconic pyramids, but not in the way you might think.
Oh.
Get ready for another myth to be busted.
I'm all ears. Let's bust some myths.
For years, everyone's been told that the Great Pyramids of Giza were built by slaves. Hard to imagine anything else, right? Those massive stones, the sheer size of it all, it just feels impossible without forced labor.
I see what you mean.
Right, it's like an image we've all seen in movies and history books. But as we're learning today, sometimes those images need an update. So what's the real deal? What did archaeologists find that changed everything?
Well, in 2010, archaeologists digging near the pyramids made a fascinating discovery. They found a bunch of tombs, not for pharaohs, but for everyday workers.
Okay.
And these tombs weren't empty. They were filled with tools, beer, bread, things you wouldn't bury with slaves.
That's a pretty big clue.
Right.
It sounds like these workers were treated with respect, not like slaves at all.
Exactly.
So if they weren't slaves, who were they?
The evidence points to them being skilled laborers, organized into teams, and probably even paid for their work. They were proud of their craft, their contributions were valued.
So how did this whole slave labor myth even get started?
It goes back to an ancient Greek historian named Herodotus.
Oh yeah, I've heard of him.
He visited Egypt way after the pyramids were built and made a mistake in his writings. And that mistake, well, it just kept getting repeated over time.
Wow. Shows how powerful questioning assumptions can be.
Absolutely.
And how important it is to keep digging for the truth, literally. Speaking of digging, our next discovery takes us back to Egypt again, to a site that revealed something truly unexpected, something involving lots and lots of animals.
Oh, lots of animals. I'm intrigued.
And we're talking about what might be the first zoo ever found.
A zoo.
Dating back to around 3500 BC.
Wow, a zoo in ancient Egypt. Now that's something I never would guess.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So picture this. Archaeologists are digging in Hierakonpolis, Egypt, and they come across all these animal bones, but not just any bones. We're talking elephants, hippos, baboons, wildcats.
Whoa, like a whole menagerie.
Right, and there's even evidence of hartebeest, these antelopes from Africa.
So how do we know it was a zoo and not just, wild animals hanging around?
Well, here's the kicker. Some of those bones had signs of old injuries, but they had healed.
Ah, so they were cared for.
Exactly, cared for in captivity. Seems the ancient Egyptians were fascinated by the natural world and wanted to bring all its wonders a little closer to home.
Makes sense. It's like a prehistoric safari park.
Totally. And it makes you wonder how they even managed to capture and care for such a wild bunch. What did they even do with these animals? Entertainment? Study? Something else entirely. Another mystery for the books. But for now, we're going to take a short break. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're still on our archaeological adventure, uncovering all sorts of hidden histories. What's up next on our journey?
Well, let's switch gears a bit and talk about a discovery that might just make you question everything you thought you knew about ancient technology.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
We're going back to ancient Greece, but not to the Parthenon or the Colosseum. We're going underwater.
Ooh, underwater archaeology. This sounds exciting.
It is. In 1901, sponge divers off the coast of Antikythera, a Greek island, found a shipwreck. This wreck dated back to the 1st century BC. Now, among the usual stuff like pottery and statues, they found something really strange. A corroded lump of bronze. Didn't look like much at first.
So what was it?
Well, it's called the Antikythera mechanism.
Antikythera mechanism. Okay.
Picture this. A complex clockwork device, gears, dials, all crafted from bronze.
Sounds complicated.
It was. For decades, scientists were stumped. They couldn't figure out what it was or how it worked. It was like a puzzle box from the future, but found in the past.
Okay, now I really got to know.
Yeah.
Did they ever solve the mystery of this ancient gadget?
They did. Using x-rays and all sorts of fancy imaging techniques, scientists were able to peek inside.
Cool.
And what they found, well, it was mind-blowing. The Antikythera mechanism was an astronomical calendar and calculator, but incredibly complex.
Wait, are you saying the ancient Greeks had a computer? Like over 2,000 years ago?
Well, not a computer as we know it today, but still a remarkably sophisticated device. It could track the movements of the sun, the moon, the planets, even predict eclipses and calculate the timing of the Olympic Games.
Wow, that's some seriously advanced technology for back then. Makes me wonder what other secrets are still hidden under the sea.
Right.
Okay, let's move on to another discovery that involved cracking a code and learning about a fascinating civilization. Have you ever heard of Linear B script?
Linear B. Oh, yes. This one takes us to the island of Crete,
Okay.
home to the Minoan civilization, which thrived way before the ancient Greeks.
Ah, the Minoans. Very mysterious.
They were. So archaeologists digging in the palace of Knossos on Crete found clay tablets covered in an unknown script. They called it Linear B.
So it's like hieroglyphics, a language waiting to be deciphered.
Exactly. It took decades and a lot of brilliant minds, but in the 1950s, Michael Ventris, an architect and codebreaker, finally cracked the code.
I bet that was a big moment.
It was. And guess what? Linear B turned out to be an early form of ancient Greek.
So the Minoans, this advanced civilization, were actually speaking and writing a form of Greek. That totally changes things.
It does. It rewrites our understanding of their culture and how they were connected to the wider ancient world.
It really shows how a seemingly small discovery can have a huge ripple effect.
It's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
One discovery leads to another, and suddenly we have a bigger, more complete picture.
Speaking of big pictures and mysteries, let's talk about a place that has captured imaginations for centuries. The lost city of Atlantis.
Ah, Atlantis. The legendary island civilization that disappeared beneath the waves.
Sounds almost too good to be true.
It does, doesn't it? The story first pops up in the writings of Plato, the ancient Greek philosopher. He described this powerful and advanced society swallowed by the sea in a single day and night.
Wow, that's dramatic. But wouldn't it be amazing if it were real? Imagine all the treasures and knowledge hidden down there.
It would be an archaeological find for the ages. But the question remains, was Atlantis a real place or just a story Plato made up? The debate is still going strong.
Well, the search for Atlantis has definitely led to some cool underwater discoveries.
Oh, absolutely. Submerged ruins off Bimini in the Bahamas, weird rock formations near Yonaguni Island in Japan.
Interesting.
Even a lost city off the coast of India have all been suggested as maybe, just maybe, Atlantis.
It seems like every few years someone claims to have found it. It's a mystery that never gets old.
True. And while we might never find definitive proof of Atlantis, the search itself has taught us so much about underwater archaeology, ancient seafaring cultures, and the mysteries that the ocean still holds.
The ocean really is like a giant time capsule. Okay, let's shift focus to another civilization that we only learned about because of some amazing archaeological discoveries. We're heading to China to explore the Sanxingdui civilization.
Oh, this one's a real head-scratcher. Back in 1929, a farmer in Sichuan province, China, stumbled upon a pit.
What was in the pit?
Thousands of bizarre bronze artifacts. Masks with these bulging eyes, strange figures with bird-like features, towering bronze trees, completely unique.
Sounds kind of creepy.
It was unlike anything ever seen before in China.
So who made them?
Billions.
Time travelers.
Haha. Well, the truth is even more interesting. More digging revealed an entire ancient city belonging to a civilization nobody knew about before the Sanxingdui. Their art and artifacts were so different from anything else in China. And their sudden disappearance about 2,800 years ago, still a mystery.
It's incredible to think that a whole civilization could exist for centuries, and we had no clue. The Sanxingdui discoveries really changed how we think about ancient China.
Absolutely.
It showed a level of diversity and complexity that we never imagined before.
It's fascinating.
It is. And speaking of ancient mysteries, let's talk about one of the most famous archaeological sites in the world, Stonehenge. Surely by now, archaeologists have figured out what it was for, right?
Ah, Stonehenge. That's the thing, the mystery continues.
Yeah.
We know a lot about how they built it, those huge stones moved from miles away. But its purpose, still up for debate.
I've always thought of it as some kind of ancient astronomical observatory.
That's a common theory. The stone's alignment does match up with certain astronomical events, like the summer solstice. But some folks think it was a religious site, a place for healing, a burial ground, or maybe even all of those things combined.
Like a giant prehistoric multi-tool.
Haha, exactly. It's like we're still trying to put together a giant puzzle.
It's fascinating that even with all our modern technology, there are things about the past that might always remain a mystery.
That's what makes archaeology so exciting. Always something new to discover, new mysteries to solve.
I agree. Okay, let's travel to the Amazon rainforest now, a place we often think of as untouched wilderness. But a recent discovery has turned that idea on its head.
This discovery really shows how powerful technology can be for archaeology. Using LiDAR, which stands for light detection and ranging, archaeologists were able to see through the thick rainforest canopy and make detailed 3D maps of what was hidden underneath.
Like X-ray vision for the jungle? What did they find down there?
It was pretty astonishing. Hidden beneath the jungle were the remains of huge interconnected settlements, complete with roads, canals, and even fortifications for defense. These settlements belonged to pre-Columbian cultures that thrived in the Amazon centuries before Europeans showed up.
Wait, so there were entire cities hiding in the rainforest? I can't believe something that big went unnoticed for so long.
It's a testament to the ingenuity of these ancient Amazonian cultures.
Yeah.
And the power of technology to uncover hidden histories. These findings challenge the old view of the Amazon as untouched wilderness. They show that it was once home to sophisticated societies that shaped the landscape in amazing ways.
Makes you wonder what other secrets are hidden beneath the surface, just waiting to be found.
Right.
And what other historical narratives might need rewriting as we keep exploring and learning from the past. We'll delve into more of these incredible discoveries when we come back for the final part of our deep dive. And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into hidden histories. It's been a wild ride through time, unearthing all kinds of secrets and mysteries. What's our last stop on this archaeological adventure?
Let's go way back, before written history even existed, to a time when humans were just starting to express themselves creatively.
Okay, way back.
We're heading deep into a cave in Spain, to a place where art and history come together in an incredible way.
A cave? What kind of historical treasures could be hiding in a cave?
This is no ordinary cave. It's the cave of Altamira, and it's got some of the most amazing, well-preserved prehistoric cave art ever discovered. Picture this. You step into this dimly lit cavern and bam, the walls and ceilings are alive with images of bison, deer, horses, even human hands.
Oh.
All painted in these vibrant colors that have lasted for thousands of years.
Cave paintings from the Stone Age, that's mind-blowing. Just how old are we talking?
These paintings date back to the Upper Paleolithic period, somewhere between 14,000 and 20,000 years ago. It's crazy to think they've been there all this time, hidden away, waiting to be found.
It's like a time capsule of creativity. What can these paintings tell us about the people who created them? They must have been pretty skilled artists.
Yeah, absolutely. The Altamira cave paintings and other cave art discoveries around the world have totally changed how we think about prehistoric humans. We used to think of cavemen as simple, primitive, but these paintings show a level of artistry, observation, and symbolic thinking that's just incredible.
It makes you wonder what inspired them, right? Were they trying to capture the beauty of the animals they hunted? Were they telling stories? Or was there maybe some deeper meaning behind their art?
It's a question that keeps archaeologists and art historians up at night. The meaning of cave art is still a big mystery, but one thing's for sure, these paintings give us a glimpse into the minds of our ancestors, how they connected with nature, and how creative they were.
It's a good reminder that we're all part of a long line of human creativity, stretching back thousands and thousands of years.
Exactly. And this journey of discovery isn't over. New technology, like that LiDAR we talked about earlier, keeps opening up new possibilities for archaeologists, helping us see the past in ways we never could before. Who knows what other hidden histories are still out there waiting to be discovered?
It's pretty exciting to think about, isn't it? What will be the next Rosetta Stone? The next Pompeii? What amazing things will future generations unearth that will change how we see the world?
That's the magic of archaeology. It's a constant quest for knowledge and understanding. The more we learn about the past, the more we realize just how much more there is to discover.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into hidden histories. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired and a little bit awestruck by all the amazing discoveries we've talked about today.
Me too. It reminds us that the past is never truly lost, you know? It's all around us, buried beneath our feet, hidden in caves, sunk beneath the waves, just waiting for someone to rediscover it, challenge our ideas, and change how we understand who we are and where we came from.
Thanks for coming along with us on this journey through time. We hope you've enjoyed exploring these hidden histories as much as we have. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep wondering.